think we're recording. What's up, everyone? My name's Sri Madumbi. I'm 20 years old, and I'm currently on the process of trying to finish my app and hopefully get it onto the app stores. And yeah, so I'm basically a young startup founder, I guess. And today's video, I kind of want to give you guys some advice about leadership and how to lead a team. And so this no fluff, guys. I'm not gonna sell you guys a course. I'm not like a rich guy. I don't drive Lambos. I drive a Honda Accord 2010. Um, During this project, the startup that I've started, my parents gave me $2,000. So currently, I'm $2,000 in debt because I got owe my dad $2,000. So he was like the first investor in this project, and so I haven't finished the app yet, and I'm still finishing up the developmental stages of the app, and it's gonna be amazing. I just can't wait to show you guys. But for now, this video is mostly for people that never really had a option or like never really learned how to become a leader. And I think the best way to become a better leader is just to go all into like just to get your hands wet into leadership. And so I think honestly that's the best way. And so I wrote a couple points down here on the Google Docs, and I can't wait to read it to you guys. And just we'll kind of talk about what leadership is and how I can or how you guys can become a better leader, whether whatever age it is. I know I'm 20 years old, and I don't know everything about leadership, but hopefully I can help some of the young founders out there, maybe, or even people that are older and are still trying to do leadership. Hopefully, I can help inspire you guys as well, and how to become a better leader. So I think one thing or a couple things you guys should know about me is that my leadership style tends to be a like more like playful guy, because I'm not like a hard nosed high testosterone type of guy. I don't got like a deep voice and nothing like that. But trust me, you guys don't want to make me mad. Um, but yeah, so how can I become a better leader? So one of the things, since I was 20 years old and I started the startup of building my app. Um, I never really had. I'm not a technical guy, so I don't have tech experience. I know maybe some basics about vibe coding and stuff and some AI technology, but I'm not a technical guy. So when I hired my team off of like some freelance website, I forgot which one I used. Fiverr or up? I think it's Fiverr. Yeah, sorry, whoopsie, Fiverr. Um, I hired my team, and I know when I hired my team, this isn't like I actually like like a big company type of team, but I still got a team from Fiverr, and they're just incredible people. But when I did hire them, I didn't have credentials, so I was always like, I was always inferior to these people. Like I was just like a small kind of guy. All these guys were, they're way older than me and have a lot more experience. So when they're tossing out all these vocab terms, I was so confused about when we're building the app, right? And so what I learned is you need to first make them have a little bit of power. Okay, and here's the thing about leadership is a psychological game, right? We all have. If you haven't read that book, 40 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, I think you should read it. I haven't read it yet, but I still have it catching dust in my bookshelf. I might read it, but I think what I learned about leadership is it's a psychology game. Okay, you need to I know it sounds dirty, and this isn't like toxic psychology, but I'm just telling you straight up, like it might sound like some toxic psychology, but it's not really. Just understand that you need, as a good leader, you have to have really good fundamentals of psychology and how people operate, and what makes people more motivated, and what like turns people away, and they like envy you, or they like leave the company or whatever, right? It's a psychology game, right? Listen to that. It's a psychology game. All right. So here's how I did it. Okay. So I didn't have credentials. All right. I was 20 years old. All right. So what I did was I gave them a little bit of power. How did I do that? You might be asking. How did I give them power? Well, I showed my vulnerability in the early stages of when I hired them. I just told them, "Hey, look. So I'm 20 years old. My name's Sri. I have a firm budget of $2,000 for this project. Okay. What can you guys do? Boom, bam, bam, done. All right. Now here's the twist, though. Okay. I showed them my vulnerability, but you got to be careful because sometimes they use your vulnerability against you, and they convince you to, oh, we're gonna do 2,200. Oh no, you know what? This project won't be done in 2,000. Let's do 3,000. They'll say a number like that when in reality it's probably done in $2,000. But they'll use your youngness and like those type of factors to charge higher price or whatever it is, right? So you got to be careful when you're using vulnerability. You need to be able to know these things so then you can comprehend, or then you can counter, or like you can say something to them like otherwise, like you already planned for it, so then you're ready for it, right? It's like in war, you know the enemy is going to attack at this particular area. All right, we're going to send a freaking blockade, we're going to send all our troops in that area. All right, we're ready for it before the attack even happens. Okay, and I know it sounds crazy, but I'm telling you it's a psychology game. Okay, so I showed my vulnerability to them. Okay, and at first, they set a higher price as usual. I brought it down to $2,000 through negotiation skills. I told them, "Look, firm $2,000. That's it. All right." And when I talked to them, I didn't really. I showed a little bit of aggression towards when I was talking to them, but then like I wouldn't say aggression, sorry, like more firm. Like I'm firm on this, all right? 100%. You got to be confident as a leader. You got to hear it from your voice. And you got to remember guys also uh these leadership skills might differ if you're like in person. I forgot to mention this. These were all through Zoom calls when I was hiring this team. So in Zoom calls, right, in person it might be different, but in Zoom calls, like your voice is so important, and even in person your voice is so important. So the way you say it and the tone you say it, you need to be confident. You need to tell them, look, I'm firm $2,000. Okay, final deal, yes or no, boom, I'm out of there. All right, and you gotta show that uh you gotta give them a sense that we can leave anytime. I know this advice is mostly for the beginning stages, and so you guys can skip ahead, but if you guys already have a team and stuff, that's amazing. But yeah, I guess I'll just wrap it up with, you have to be comfortable with showing your vulnerability, but still have a sense of confidence that you're unshakable, or like not shakable, but yeah, you have a sense of confidence, so you still have power. Okay, it's a power dynamic thing. Okay, you want them to feel like they have a little more power than you. All right, but you still don't want to seem too weak. Like you don't want to seem all the way down here. You want to seem like a little bit up here. Okay, and that allows you to create like that allows you to hire the team and stuff, right? So next is, when you're hiring a team, you gotta convince them of the goal, right? So one of the goals of a startup is to convince a group of people working on the startup that your vision is gonna be amazing. It's gonna make them money. It's gonna make our company rich, basically, right? And so you have to convince your team that your vision is like, this is the vision, and you gotta convince them, okay, I fuck with that vision. Basically, that's what they basically need to say, right? And Dale Carnegie, in his book How to Win Friends, Influence People, talks about like evoking a want and evoke an eager want in your team members. Um, sorry, and then talk in terms of your team members' interests. Okay, at the end of the day, look, um, your team, whether they love the product or the vision and stuff, at the end of the day, look, they're doing it for money, or they're doing it, right. They have reasons why. All right, team members have their own lives. Okay, I think at beginning, when I was starting this app journey, um, at first I was a little too selfish. I felt like, and I thought everybody was like, oh, you guys love the app, and all you guys love the vision. So I thought they're just on board with it. But in reality, they don't have as much passion as I do for the startup. This is the reality you have to learn. Okay, maybe it's different because I did hire them off Fiverr, so it's like freelancing. But this is just, I'm telling you, just keep this in the back of your mind. Just know that they won't have that much passion as you do for the vision, for the idea, for the product, for the business, etc. Right? So how do I create passion? All right. You don't necessarily have to create passion. Like you don't necessarily have to motivate, or not. You have to motivate them, but you don't necessarily have to have them like be like, oh my god, I want that idea so much. You don't have to have that. Okay. You just have to tell them that uh, that making this product or motivating them will lead to like whatever it is, or lead to money or whatever, right? This might be you guys can argue this in comment section below, but the way I kind of did it is I told them, look, at the end of the day, guys, look, we make this app, all right, we put it on the app store, all right, I get money, you guys get money. Why? Because I have no technical skills. All right, I'm gonna come back for version 2, version 3, version 4, etc. Okay, that's why we need to make the onboarding flow incredible in the app. We need to have a paywall so I can get money and then I can give you guys money to help update the app. All right, done. It's a win-win for both of us. You see how I kind of talked in their terms as well. Um, it's a lot different here because when I'm talking to my team in Fiverr, I don't really have a personal connection to them like maybe I do in real life. So I guess the only real connection is okay. Let's face it. In the reality, like in reality, they just want money here, right? So I talked to them in terms of their interests, right? I said, look, you guys did an amazing job. I'm gonna come back for version 2, version 3, version 4. So they're thinking money, money, money. That's what they're thinking. Okay. So that's how I talk in terms of their interests, and that's what creates the little motivation. Okay. And here's another thing that I want to convince or want to say a lot, right? I told you guys that your team won't have as much passion as you do for the project, but here's the thing, okay? I want you to create a personal connection with your team. For me, it's harder because I'm on Fiverr, but for you guys, it might be a little easier. So how? Let me tell you how I create a personal connection with my team. I did it by showing my face on Fiverr. They showed their face as well. I had fun activities planned. I had a day where it's just team culture, team bonding. We're talking about the World Cup. We're talking about Messi. We're talking about what their dreams were. Yes, I was talking to them. I was like, "Hey, what are your guys' dreams, man?" You know, one of them said, I don't want to leak the names here, but one of them said they want to start a business. I was like, "Yo, bro, I want to do. I'm starting a business right here." And I was like, "Hey, we should collab, or maybe in the future we should like, you know, we should start a business or like a startup or whatever together, right?" One of them said they want to become the best 2D animator in the world, or they said I want to be a 2D animator. I'm like, "You're already a 2D animator. Let's aim higher, okay?" I was like, "Let's go for being the best 2D animator in the world." I created a sense of happiness. And honest, this isn't like I'm doing this just because I want my app to be paid. I genuinely care, right? Because here's the reality, guys. At least for me, it's unethical if I'm just forcing these guys to work and create something that's in my interest without them changing their life, right? When I'm creating a product or service, whatever it is, when I'm starting a business, right? The goal is to like to help and change people's lives, right? So my business is more business or B2C, so business to consumer. So I want to change my consumers' lives, right? But I also want to change my team members' lives, right? I can't have people working on my project that I haven't impacted. So I want to change my team because I love my team, guys. Those are my guys, you know. I love my team. So I guess what I'm trying to say is create a personal connection with your team and just know that at the end of the day they're people too and they got their own lives to kind of kind of go through and whatever their own lives is. So asking personal questions like what is your dream, what is your goal, what do you want to get out of this project, and stuff like that. It really just shows character as a leader and really creates a more fun, entertaining project. And you got to be careful though, because you don't want it to slip too much, and you want to create a little bit of professionalism so that people know what to do, and so things get done on time. Okay, and so in terms of talking, I'm not the best at talking. I do talk a lot. I think that's one of the flaws that I have as a leader. Um, but I think when I'm working on the project for building my app, I think one of like the biggest things that helped me was I started to ask a lot of questions. All right, I think good leaders ask questions, open-ended questions, and they help bring people that are a little more shy in the team to like kind of talk and ask questions. I'll call people out. I'll be like, hey, for example, I'll just this is not the name, but yeah, I'll just say, Sam, okay, what do you think about this? And I'll call people out by their name. All right, saying their name is so important because the name is the heart, or like it's like a calling to the soul or something like that. I forgot. Carnegie in this book, How to Win Friends, Influence People, he said, call people by their name because name is like it just resonates with them so like powerfully, and people love being called by their name. So I'll call people out within the Zoom call by their name, and I'll tell them, hey, what do you think about this? I'll get people into the conversation so that we have maybe like a friendly debate and we get ideas going, and so we can improve the app, which is the end goal, right? And So my advice is ask a lot of questions because this simulates creativity within the team, and when everyone's like kind of gets their creative mind flowing, we can create some amazing ideas, right? You want to create and like when you're creating or when you're in a team, you want to be able to not be so firm when it comes to creative decisions. All right, you want your team to be little loose, so like creativity can spread. So creativity can be wild. All right, creativity is just such a key element. It is one of the most prettiest, beautiful things that you can ever do as a leader. Is to not be too firm. Is to allow your team to think for themselves. Okay. At the end of the day, yes, we want the project done like this, like this, like that. But let them have decisions. Let them have choices. Let them be like, you know what, Sri, I don't want it like that. All right. That's what I told my team. I told my team, look, at the end of the day, I want the project done, right? But here's the thing. I don't want the project done where you guys don't think it's also good as well. All right. So I told my team, look, tell me straight up if you guys have suggestions how we can make this better, or you guys can challenge me and be like, Sri, I'm be honest. I know you said to do this, but I kind of like it like this. I'm down to have friendly debates. I told my team that. I created a sense of it's okay, like feeling, if that makes sense. Like, okay, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say don't create such a tense situation where your team members feel pressured by the leader. It's like, oh my god, the leader wants this, I have to do that. No, 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 no. You have to create like a situation, an air of of um like debates and like intellectual debates. You know, when you go to like science fairs and science clubs and stuff, and people talk about science and they share their research and they have friendly debates. That's what it should be like. That's how a leader, that's how a company grows, when people and team members have friendly debates. Because what this does is it creates motivation for them. They're like, they get inspired and they're like, you know what, I want to work on this project together. I have incredible ideas. Because when they, all right, let's just say, because this happened a lot of times, by the way. Those team members gave me some ideas about what I want to do, and I'll be like, you know what, that's an incredible idea. I think we should do it. All right, thank you for sharing. Because now it makes them feel like they contributed to the project, and it gives that sense of, you know what, now this is our project instead of my project. Instead of my project, it's our project together, and that is the goal as a leader, is to do that. And yeah. Let me see if I have any more on the Google Docs. These are all just bullet points I got here. Okay. I guess yeah. And then last thing is yeah. Just know that at the end of the day, your team members have their own lives as well. So don't get too discouraged when your team members don't have as much passion for you. All right, but try your hardest to evoke a sense of passion for the project, and that is the end goal, right? Oh, and I forgot one last thing that I gotta mention is make sure you guys assign roles to your team. So every person on your team needs to have a job and a certain thing that they have to finish, and maybe even put like a milestone. So look, you gotta finish the logo design by next week. Done. Okay. You tell the team member, and you can if it requires a more collaborative project, you can mix a couple people together and form like mini teams, and like this team A has to finish the logo design, has to finish the artwork styles, etc. Team B has to write the code, and and I don't know, something else, right? Write the code and test development, something like that, right? And you can have fun with it because I do teams in my project, and so I let the team members choose their own team names. And so, but yeah, assigning roles to each person and or like mini team groups is really essential because everyone knows what they need to do and what they need to complete. It's almost like American football, right? American football, it's a team sport, but it's a little different than like soccer or something, right? Where soccer, it's a team sport because everyone has to, you know, they pass the ball around, etc. But in football, it's a team sport where everyone does their own individual work, and together as a team you rise up, and that's kind of the same way as business. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy this video. It's your boy Sri. Peace.